Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash, to the apostles and else great millstone for teaching us his truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful like Jerusalem Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father named Hebrew, by Hashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in our lesson, and as you see in the title, we have a dietary law for a reason, which came across the video a couple hours ago, and you're going to see this dude cutting up a piece of ham, which obviously pork. And you're going to see how nasty it looks. As well, you'll see multiple articles come out of people being infected with viruses after eating, certain unclean beasts, especially dealing with pork. Where you have tapeworms, in their brain, which I'm going to, get a few articles to, go into that also. The Lord commanded us to stay away from these things for a reason, man. So we're just going to get these two videos out the way and jump to a few scriptures at hand. The Lord's will lesson will be edifying to the point. Let's dive right into it.
Anybody know what this is? Just bought this today. It's good until May of next year, but it's got this in it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up.
Did you jiggle it for them?
I don't.
No. Whatever, dude. Look this.
And of course it's an Edomite, but the point still stands. We're to stay away from these things. But you already know how Jake is when it comes to pork and these other unclean beasts, as you see with lobster, shrimp, crab, as well as many others. They don't want to, give it up. Jake don't want to, leave their so-called lavish lifestyle behind. They want to continue to eat bacon, ham, and all these different things. But even after being warned and receiving, this truth, being told of what they've been doing is wrong, that we're not to eat certain things, that we're not to do certain things, and they continue to do it, you're at that point sinning willfully, and you're no longer covered, as we're going to Hebrews 10 and 26, which we're going to get after these couple videos. So let's get one more.
Be careful with your pork or wherever you buy pork. Do you see that? That's a tapeworm. And that was my dinner for tonight. I'm throwing all the pork chops in the trash.
But it looks like a maggot, but either way you still see, tapeworms in them and all that. You have people even comment this also. That's not a problem, or that is not a tapeworm. It looks like a maggot, not a tapeworm. All pork has worms. I don't eat it at all. And we're to stay away from it for a reason, man. Because you'll see, pigs like to eat pretty much anything that is put in their way. Dead carcasses and, each other and trash and all these different things. And that's what you're putting in your body, Also to go along with those many viruses that are within them. The tapeworms and all that, which we'll get, a quick article right here, which I believe I made a lesson a while back going into. Now, a man had hundreds of tapeworms in his brain, and doctors believe it was from eating undercooked pork. I mean, come on. He was experiencing headaches and seizures. Now, it says doctors discovered hundreds of tapeworms living in a man's brain and upper body after they believe he ate undercooked pork in a hot pot, according to Newsweek. Now, it says Zhu Song went to the first affiliated hospital of College of Medicine, Zhejiang University in China, so it looks like a Moabite, and said he'd been experiencing frequent headaches for a month and even seizures. He said his local doctors had been unable to find the root of his issues. After performing an MRI, doctors at the hospital found damage caused by tapeworms in his brain and even more worms in his upper body, including his lungs and chest. He had those tapeworms pretty much all over him, As the tapeworms' eggs can be killed when meat is cooked to at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit. When doctors asked him if he recalled eating any undercooked meat, recently, Zeus said he had eaten some pork hot pot and wasn't sure if the meat was cooked properly. The doctor believes this could be the cause of the worms. And you also see many other articles, pretty much similar to this one right here. Going to many other situations where you have people even dying from it. This is the worms that invade your brain. Chinese man had tapeworms in brain after eating undercooked pork, which I believe is what we just, went into. A man ate a hot pot. He's going the same thing. So the doctor found hundreds of tapeworms in man's brain after he ate pork. Man 18 dies from tapeworm larvae in his brain after eating pork. I mean, come on. Man had hundreds of tapeworms in brain and chest after eating, pork. So you see many other similar situations like the one we just read right here. So let's dive into the scriptures at hand, get the main point, which would be the book of Leviticus, to go into that dietary law. Now it said, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying to them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth, whatsoever part of the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. That shall ye eat. And make sure I'm on the right correct scripture. Or Slucky, verse 4. I was, trying to find my spot. But nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof. As the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divide not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Verse 5. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. So it's going to these other animals that were also not to eat. Verse 7, which is the main point right here. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. And Jake will see this, Jake will be warned of this, that we're not to be eating pork that's unclean, as well as dealing with these other unclean beasts, and they'll disregard it. They'll continue to do what they've been told not to do, spit probably how Bashim Shai, which is obviously, going to have consequences, man. Now, verse 8, it says, of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch, they are unclean to you. And also goes into these other animals, dealing, with the water, the fish, and all that. And many other animals dealing with the fowls of the air. So if you do want to look too fast to lock it. If you want to look into it for yourself, going back to Leviticus, 11th chapter, and on down. But we got the main point we needed. So let's just jump into Hebrews 10:26, which I was mentioning multiple times. This is, for if we sin willfully after that we have received knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. So you see many of our people, be given these warnings. And if they continue to disregard it and do the things that they're told not to do, that, you're going off, that you're not supposed to be eating these things or doing those certain things, and you continue to do it, you're at that point sinning willfully. So you're no longer covered under the blood of Yahweh Shai, man, because, you're going off on purpose, knowing what you're doing is wrong and incorrect, because you have been warned. But you know how hard-headed Jake is when it especially comes to food. When it comes to giving up pork, they don't want no part of it. They want to continue to eat bacon and all these other things, man. They don't want to give up catfish, lobster, shrimp. You know how heavy Jake is into those things, man. And those that don't give it up will be destroyed, which is another point we push throughout this lesson, because they ultimately do not fear Yahweh Bashim Shai. The Lord will tear you up for eating these unclean beasts, man. Why do you think people are getting tapeworms in their brain, even dying from it? That's judgment from Yahweh Bashim Shai. And now let's continue on with those scriptures. 1 John 3 and 4. And I said, whosoever committed sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So what is the transgression of the law speaking of? Going to the breaking of the law. As it says right here, for sin is the transgression of the law. So you are willfully sinning at that point. If you continue to eat these things, even after receiving this truth, after being told they're unclean, that we have a dietary law to follow. Obviously to the best of our ability, because you have these devils trying to make it hard as possible to keep these law, statutes, and commandments. So we obviously got to study the back of ingredients and be careful with certain things that we eat, because you already have this devil trying to destroy us at every way possible. Especially when it comes to the food. They'll put certain unclean things into them and all that. But so after where grace comes into play, and we try our best to keep these laws statutes to the best of our ability. Like I just mentioned, that's why it's important to look and study the back of ingredients to make sure we're not eating anything that can obviously get us destroyed, and that's obviously unclean. Now let's continue on with the point. Romans 6 and 23. It says, for the wages of sin is death. So a judgment, man. And you will be destroyed for eating pork, for eating these many other unclean beasts that we're not to eat. You know? Now read it one more time. Romans 6:23. For the wages of sin is death. That's the outcome. That's the consequence for going off, for rebelling against the Lord. Especially after receiving this truth. You know? Because now you are warned. You're made known of what you've been doing is wrong. You know? That's unclean to you. Yet you still eat it? So there will be consequences for that. You are no longer covered under the blood of Yahweh, man. So you're going to get what's coming to you. That's about the gift of the Most High is eternal life through Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, our Lord. We tells you in John 14:6, how Yahweh Shai is the way, you know, the life, the peace, you know. It's like I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but, you know, Lord's trying to get the point across and it's edifying. But well, now it says Proverbs 1:22-31. Because I believe this lesson will be also edifying, you know, to, you know, newcomers that may come into this thing, not knowing that, you know, we're to keep the law. You know, because you see within these Christian churches, they like to push that you can come as you are, you can do anything and everything that you want, you can still eat pork and do all these different things and continue to go off and sin and still be safe. I mean, that's not the case. You know, you got to be changed. You got to put off that old man. You know, there are changes, once again, that's to be made. And to especially put off these wicked things. Now, it says Proverbs 1:22-31. Now, it says, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Our people hate hearing this truth. And when it especially comes to, you know, going against their, you know, so-called lavish lifestyle and giving up certain things, you know, Jake will, you know, take 5 steps back, you know, has to think twice about, you know, coming to this truth, which ultimately is, you know, not for them in the first place, man. Now, let's see. Now, verse 23. Now, it says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Verse 24. Because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regards. So those that continue to smack away the hand that Yahweh Bashem Ashai is extended unto you, you will be destroyed. Plainly put. You know, especially disregarding these warnings and doing what you've been told not to when it comes to, you know, pork and these many other unclean beasts, and you continue to eat it. I mean, you're going to get what's coming to you, man. As well as still many other things, but we're specifically speaking on, you know, the dietary law within this lesson. But let's see, verse 26. Now, so I also will laugh at your calamity. I'll mock when your fear cometh. The Lord can laugh at you coming to the last days, man. You know, those that want to disregard these warnings, not take heed, not seek out after Yahweh Bashem Shai, those that want to mock and scoff, yeah, you're going to get what's coming to you, man. The Lord's going to laugh at you. And everything that to his men, to his prophets. Verse 27. When your fear comes at desolation, and your destruction comes as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish comes upon you, then shall they call upon me. Now you want to call upon the Lord when, you know, you're in the time of trouble. You know, when you're in time of need. Now, let's see. But they shall not find me. So hey, the Lord's going to turn his face from you, man, because you wanted to disregard these warnings. You didn't want to seek the Lord. So your neighbor is coming to you. Verse 29, for that they hated knowledge and not choose the fear of the Lord. And ultimately, Jake does not fear Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. You know, especially when it comes to, you know, these unclean beasts. Like, he ain't going to destroy me over eating pork or over bacon. Through. Especially this one, like I mentioned earlier, you see within these churches, they tell you can do anything that you want. You know, come as you are when that's nowhere in the scriptures. Verse 30 says, they were none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. You know, they hate the rebuke. They hate the correction. You know. And when Jake is told they can't do certain things, you know, they get all emotional, offended. When it's ultimately the Lord correcting you. But those that want to disregard it and not take heed, that's on you. Verse 31. As you're about to see over here, therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. There are consequences to your actions, man. Now let's get a few more, and this will be the lesson. Jeremiah 4:22, for my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are a sottish children, and they have none understanding. So our people are hard-headed, man, stiff-necked. Now it says, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. Our people are wicked, man. Are completely through. And I just read right here, but to do good, are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. This is going to show how wicked and just rebellious our people are, man. Especially going to today's society, wickedness is praised as righteousness. Righteousness is looked upon as wickedness. So, as you also see in Zechariah 13:8, the Lord's getting ready to destroy the wicked of our people. As Hosea 4:6 to also enter that point. And that says, for my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I also will reject thee. So once again, those that want to take heed, those that want to continue to reject the word of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, there's going to be a problem. Just putting it plainly. And that says, I also will reject thee. Thou shalt be no priest to me, till thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. So once again, those that want to continue to eat pork, even still into those unclean beasts, even after being told and warned that what you'll be doing is wrong, that you're going off, that we're to stay away from those unclean beasts, as well as the do's and not the do's, and you continue to do it, judgment awaits you. Now we're going to close out with these last two scriptures, and that's going to be it on that. This is Romans 12:2, and that says, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And how's that, by the way, with this truth, this knowledge, this understanding? Coming back to who we are as a people, coming back to our power, Yahweh Bashim Shai, as well as the true names. As I just mentioned, Yahweh what, Yahweh Shai. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's not just simple as come to the fact that you are an Israelite, because there is work that needs to be done. Now you know that you're not supposed to be doing certain things. Now you know you're not supposed to be eating certain things. Now you know we're supposed to keep the law. That's not done away with. Now is that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. Let's continue on. As Ecclesiastes 5:7. Now to make no tarrying to turn to the Lord and put off from day to day, as see many of our people are doing, especially when they hear that we can't do certain things, like I just keep mentioning throughout this lesson, they'll take 5 steps back. They have to think twice about it. And make no tarrying to turn to the Lord and put off from day to day, especially when it comes to these pagan holidays, man. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it for my kids and all these different things. Just the amount of excuses that will come out in order to continue to live their so-called lavish lifestyle. Continue to take part in these things. As if for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. You will be destroyed. And that's ultimately it on the lesson. I saw that video, so I'm going to take a quick hit through the spirit, as well as thought it would be edifying. Newcomer Jakes that may see this and may not know that we're to keep the law, obviously, and all that we're not to be eating certain things. So Lord was edifying. And I do give all praises, all honor, and glory to Abba Shai, by Hashem HaKadosh, to the apostles, and else great those known for teaching us truth, peace, and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel, and Shalom, Central Low